Thanks for joining us here on the Bearcats Sports Network. It's our weekly visit with McKendree football coach Mike Babcock. And Coach, first things first, this past Saturday, Senior Night at Lehman Field. It was a game the Bearcats got off to a bit of a slow start, trailed by 1 at the half, but 29 unanswered points to finish the ball game in a 42-14 victory. And it was appropriately enough your seniors leading the way. And talk about what that effort meant to the program last week.
Well, I mean, it's kind of goes hand in hand with the culture that we tried to create around here of never give up, whatever it takes type of mentality. And the nice thing was I approached some of the seniors as we were walking in at halftime, and they're the ones that actually got the team together and kind of gave them a 1-2, before we went out for the second half. So I think that's really what did it. We started playing McKendree football in that second half, and that's really kind of what took over.
And as we alluded to, appropriately enough, seniors leading the way. In particular, 3 seniors, 1 in each phase of the game. First on offense, Cheyenne Edwards, a career-high 181 yards rushing, 30 carries, a big touchdown in that 23-point fourth quarter. It's a guy that's been your workhorse in the backfield all season long.
I mean, he really played possessed in the game. I mean, you could tell. I mean, there wasn't, one guy that could bring him down, and I think that's really what kind of, took it over offensively. We were able to kind of move the ball on the ground, eat up some clock. He really did a great job for us whole game.
A guy that we've talked about the last several weeks, and he did it again this past Saturday, Austin Wealth, the middle linebacker for the Bearcats. 12 tackles, 2 more interceptions, tying a school record with 5 picks on the year. Then he had a 94-yard interception return for a touchdown, and the guy just weaved his way downfield. It was kind of spectacular the way he did it, but a guy that has scored 3 defensive touchdowns as McKendree leads the nation in defensive touchdowns with 8.
Right place, right time. The biggest thing for Austin is he's just a great ball player. He finds ways to make plays. We've asked him to move positions about halfway through the season because of injuries, and he's really kind of taken over that Mike linebacker position, and he's done a fantastic job. And I know he'll be excited to kind of finish this thing out and ride it as long as it'll take, and get into this last game.
And then the third senior to allude to is Derek Curry, your fine punt returner, kick returner. First time he touched the ball on special teams, he goes 50 yards for a touchdown, his second of the season, his 4th career return. Had another big return for the Bearcats, and a guy that has been able to break some big plays for McKendree.
He's very deceptive, very elusive. And he just kind of finds that hole a little bit and is able to make some plays, take some chances, and pick up some good yardage. We talk about it in special teams being able to change field position, and anytime that not only do you change field position but you get points out of the deal, we'll definitely take it.
The big thing, McKendree picks up the victory at home, wins its 4th game on the Lehman Field turf, goes to 7-3 overall. The Bearcats cannot finish any lower than 2nd in the GLVC standings, 5-1 going into the regular season finale on Saturday at Truman State. And this is a team, the Bearcats, although they've won the last 2 games, Truman State is a team that is very competitive against the Bearcats, and it will be a full 60 minutes of football.
Well, I mean, you pretty much said it, Scott. I mean, this is a good football team that we're coming into playing. It's their senior night. They're on a 3-game win streak right now. They're really kind of playing their best ball right now, which is something that we preach to our guys. They're very well coached on both sides of the ball. So I think this is a very evenly, matchup type game, and kind of excited to see where it can go.
And it's a team, Truman, much like McKendree, a lot of veteran players on their team. Jaden Barr, their quarterback, is back for another year under center. They've got some defensive leaders as well, and it's a team that's very familiar with what McKendree does, and I'm sure after last season's 41-14 McKendree victory, they're going to want to exact some revenge.
Absolutely. Offensively, they like to run the ball. I mean, they're averaging, over 45 run plays a game, so they really want to pound it. But at the same time, they'll also set up the play action pass and be able to take shots, to be able to score points. Defensively, it's their bread and butter. They go hard every single play. They've got a very active defensive line, very active linebacker core. This is probably one of the toughest defenses that we'll face all year. Just with how hard they end up going. And I know last year the biggest difference was 3 punt blocks in the game last year. So I've never been in a game where it's had 3 punt blocks. And I told the guys that, hey, the score doesn't really matter. Last year really doesn't matter. That's thrown out. That might even be more edge and fight for them, coming into their senior day. So we got to be able to match it and be ready for it, and hopefully get it going on Saturday.
11 weeks of competitive football comes to an end this Saturday. It's been a very spirited final week of practice. What have you talked to with your team, especially those 19 seniors going through their final steps as a Bearcat?
Well, first I thank the seniors. I mean, these are the ones that, really kind of took the program, and bought into the idea and created the culture, that we see today. And the younger guys are kind of the recipients of everything that they've been able to do and get to this point as well. And then the last thing I said is that this is the last game. This is, your final game, and this is the final time that the 2017 team, is going to, be together. So what's the legacy going to be? What's this final chapter going to be? I know it's very similar to what Truman State's going to be doing, and so like I said, it's going to be a great matchup on Saturday to see kind of how this final chapter in our season can go.
Bearcats look to wrap up the season with a 4-game win streak. Coach, good luck on Saturday, and congratulations on a very successful 2017 season.
Appreciate it.
Don't forget, you can listen to the Bearcats game live on the Bearcats Sports Network at glbcsn.com/McKendree, beginning with the pregame show at 12:45 p.m.